Welcome to the Switch Style Podcast, where we encourage you to think beyond what you hear. I'm your host, Smooth, and this is actually episode 42. So, audience, welcome back. Glad to have you back. We appreciate everyone listening right now, whoever you are, wherever you are. Thank you for listening. We sincerely appreciate it. It's actually going to be a pretty quick one. I'll give you a quick chart update, and I'm actually reviewing the new Run the Jewels album. Run the Jewels 3 to be more specific. So before we jump into anything, I do want to quickly remind you, or if you like what you hear, subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Google Play Music, and SoundCloud. Just type in Switch Style Podcast and it'll take you right to us. Hit that subscribe button and you can find us. And also you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So let's go ahead and jump into it. On the Billboard 200, The Weeknd Starboy returns to the top spot, earning 69,000 units. 18,000 of those were traditional album sales. To note, this is the second week at number 1 for Starboy. On the Hot 100, congratulations Migos and Lil Uzi Vert. Bad and Boujee rises to number 1 on the Hot 100, replacing Black Beatles by Ray Shrimmer and Gucci Mane. Also to note, Bad and Boujee is the first number 1 song for Migos, whose group members include, if you don't know, Quavo, Takeoff, and Offset. And also, congrats to Lil Uzi Vert. This is his first number 1 as well. So, if you're interested in how Bad and Boujee jumped to the top spot so quickly, last year, December 20th of 2016, a 60-second clip of the Migos performing Bad and Boujee in Nigeria was posted on Twitter, which helped boost the song to the top spot. So, if you were interested, that's how it got there. And also, the Golden Globes recently aired this past Sunday, and Atlanta star Donald Glover, who's also known as Childish Gambino, he mentioned Bad and Boujee during his award speech, saying, "I really want to thank the Migos, not for being in the show, but for making Bad and Boujee. Like, that's the best song ever." So, Donald Glover or Childish Gambino, whichever you prefer, his cosign actually meant a lot, and after that, they saw a big surge in sales and streams. So, congrats to Migos and Lil Uzi Vert. It's their first number 1. And also, congrats to Donald Glover, the star and creator of the hit TV series Atlanta. He brought home 2 Golden Globe Awards. So, congratulations to Donald Glover. I'm really excited for the guy. So, that's actually a quick chart update for you guys. But before we move on to the actual album review, again, if you like what you hear, we would definitely love to have you subscribe to the podcast. You can find us on iTunes, Google Play Music, and SoundCloud. All you got to do is, like I said, just type in Switch Style Podcast, and it'll take you to us. And once you get there, hit like on the page. Also, subscribe to the page. Subscribe to the podcast, that is, and it'll actually be sent to you every week. And also, go check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can also find us there as well. So, let's actually jump into the review. And if you haven't heard any of our reviews before, we just like to tell you a little bit about the artist before we jump into anything, just to bring you up to speed so that we're all familiar with who we're talking about. So here we go. Run the Jewels. It's a rap duo that consists of Atlanta rapper Killer Mike and New York bred producer rapper LP. If you're interested, Killer Mike's real name is Michael Render, and LP's real name is Jamie Moline. They were both born in 1975, and as I said, Killer Mike is from Atlanta, and LP is specifically from Brooklyn, New York. Killer Mike, he signed with Columbia Records in the early 2000s, and initially he was associated with the group Outkast, and surfaced on their 2001 hit The Whole World, which he also won the 2002 Best Rap Performance by a Duo or Group Grammy with Outkast. So Killer Mike is a Grammy winner. And in 2003, he scored a big hit in Adidas, which peaked out at number 60 on the Hot 100. Wasn't a huge hit, but that's his biggest hit to date. And to LP. LP is also known as El Producto. He developed his name and, made his name with the hip-hop group Company Flow. He produced Company Flow's debut album, Fun Crusher Plus, which was released on Rawkus Records at the time. And he's also worked with Black Alicious, Mos Def, Dilated Peoples, and Cannibal Ox. In the late 90s, early 2000s, he started his own label, but afterwards, he focused on his own solo material, starting with his debut album 2002's Fantastic Damage. So, To cut to the chase, Run the Jewels, they both were introduced by Jason DeMarco. And Jason DeMarco, he's currently a senior VP for the Adult Swim Network. And they were introduced, and soon after, in 2002, LP went on to produce the entirety of Killer Mike's rap music album, which came out in 2012. And after that, they both saw that the chemistry was there. They fell in love with each other's talent, which eventually led to the first Run the Jewels collaborative effort, which was released in 2013. Run the Jewels 2 followed in 2014, and now here we are on 2016's Run the Jewels 3, which actually was dropped on Christmas Day. It was initially slated to be released actually this Friday coming up, January 13th, 2017, but they surprised us all on Christmas Day by releasing it early. So, with all that said, I'll actually go ahead and jump into the album review. So here we go. If you look closely at music history, you could easily find a great deal of top-notch talent. Sadly, what I find is that many of those who truly embody musical excellence go curiously unnoticed. Think about it. I'm sure you could come up with a few. With this in mind, let's talk about Run the Jewels. If you're unfamiliar, the group consists of Atlanta rapper Killer Mike and New York-bred producer-rapper LP. Initially introduced by Adult Swim SVP Jason DeMarco, Killer Mike then tapped LP, who produced the entirety of Mike's 2012 album, Rap Music. Shortly after, the duo made it official, dubbing themselves Run the Jewels. Their self-titled debut surfaced in 2003, and Run the Jewels 2 followed the year after. Arriving earlier than expected, the pair hijacked Christmas Day, releasing their latest, Run the Jewels 3. From start to finish, 3 reinforces the socio-political themes echoed throughout 2016, but in a way uniquely their own. On Down, the pair comes out swinging with the might of a prize fighter, jabbing away doubt and non-believers. Talk to Me addresses the evildoers and unclean spirits, most notably going to war with President-elect Donald Trump, who's precisely described as the devil who wore a bad toupee and spray tan. Their signature tag team rap continues on Legend Has It, as they flagrantly claim their stake as rap's best in business. Halfway through, Mike and LP hit their stride, tackling Chicago crime, gentrification, police brutality, and corrupt politicians on the hunting Don't Get Captured. The MLK-assisted thieves, Scream the Ghost, finds Mike and LP vicariously detailing a heinous riot through the spirit of the dead. Soon after, the pair brace for war on the militant 2100, giving thought to another Holocaust, and the side-splitting Panther Like a Panther is simply too good to be ignored. Thursday in the Danger Room takes a sharp turn as they both reflect on deeply personal losses, and as 3 closes, Mike and LP briefly recount their coming together and parallel troubles on a report to the shareholders. As a group, Run the Jewels appears to be as determined as ever. However, it's unfortunate they have to continually fight for recognition in not only hip-hop, but music in general. Lyrically, they consistently deliver a brilliant combination of informed socio-political satire and unapologetic wit that ranks among the best in rap history. Furthermore, LP's audacious production style remains highly underutilized and goes sorely unnoticed. By all means, Mike and LP intentionally make you uncomfortable and willingly say whatever it takes to get you there. To simply put it, their music sounds like a full-blown revolution. LP said it best, if you F with us, you F with the truth. So you've been warned. Proceed with caution. So there you go. That was actually my written review of Run the Jewels 3. And to add to that, Run the Jewels as a group, they're by far rap's most dangerous, most politically incorrect group these days. You never know what you're going to get from them, well, in terms of what they're going to say, but their opinions are always very informed. If you watch any reviews, not reviews, but any videos on YouTube or read any interviews that they've done in the past or currently, they're both highly intelligent guys. Mike and LP, they're very witty, they're very funny. I mean, you would hear all types of lines. The album is packed full of quotables. Musically, LP, in my opinion, he remains one of hip-hop's most underrated producers. Musically, it's a combination of the Beastie Boys and NWA. That's what they sound like. NWA or Public Enemy. That's what they sound like musically. LP, I mean, he uses a lot of, I won't call them unheard synths, but His production style, it's very synth heavy. He does use some live instrumentation, but it's very dynamic. It sort of fits in the rock mode. If you can think about, he's more of a Rick Rubin style producer if you hadn't heard any of his work, but at least the work that he does with Run the Jewels but it's very dynamic. It's packed full of changes, and it completely accentuates and complements Killer Mike's rap style. And not only Killer Mike, but LP as a rapper as well. It completely complements their style. And like I said, the music sounds like a full-blown revolution, and it's arguably the most dynamic, it's the most honest, the most completely raw thing that I heard in 2016. And that's what you get from Run the Jewels. You can always expect to hear the raw, honest, and unfiltered truth when you listen to their music. And like I said, they make you completely uncomfortable, and that's what we need. Sometimes you need to feel uncomfortable, and these guys are very, what people like to call, woke. They're very aware of what's going on in the world, and we need more of that. And I would love to see these guys be nominated for a Grammy coming around in 2018. Run the Jewels 2 was not Grammy nominated. I felt that it was one of the best rap albums of 2014, and they didn't get nominated in 16. So hopefully next time we'll actually see them walking on that Grammy stage, or at the very minimum, or at the very least receiving a nomination. So it's a really great album. I recommend that anybody who's listening, you should definitely pick it up. And I wish they would have released the album when it was scheduled to be released, because it definitely would have started out 2017 on a high note. But it was definitely appropriate considering the social and political climate surrounding 2016. So it was right on time. But again, I would, recommend that everyone go out and pick up this album, because it's definitely worth hearing, and it's definitely a great listen. Simply put, one of the better rap albums I heard in 2016. So check it out. But that's actually it for the Switch Style Podcast, episode 42. But before I go, I want to thank everyone who's listening right now. I sincerely appreciate it. We hope that you continue to listen, and thank you again for your support. And again, if you love what you hear, if you heard anything that you did like, you can find this and all archive shows on iTunes, Google Play Music, and SoundCloud. Just type in Switch Style Podcast and you can find the show. And also, if you want to reach out to us at soundcloud.com, at gmail.com. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to hear us talk about? Whatever it is that you want to talk about, or if you want to hear us talk about anything, please just let us know, and we'll definitely do that for you. So thank you again for listening. We sincerely appreciate it, and I'll see you next week on episode 43. Peace.